Small warning, if you haven't already played Sunstrike 2, then there will be many spoilers in this video regarding the missions and the expected gameplay. So please, try the game first and then come back later to watch the video. Enjoy. Hello there, and welcome back to the bunker. Today we will be showcasing the hardest single missions in Sunstrike 2, and by those single missions, I am specifying and talking about the original missions developed by the developers themselves, and not the community made ones. And how can you possibly beat those hard missions? Let's find out. As you may already know, there are total 8 single player missions in the game if you exclude the tutorial missions, which are 2. In these missions, you get to play as all of the nations in the game, whether as the Germans, the Soviets, or the Allied forces, except Japan wasn't included. Let's get to our special list demonstrating the hardest missions of them, and note that these are listed from my personal view of playing in general difficulty. Number 5. Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek is a mission where you take command of British units. The mission is taking place on a 256 x 256 size map. In this mission, you are off on a special adventure to scout and hunt for 5 highly ranked generals of the enemy. The expected locations are given to you in the main briefing, so it's up for the player to plan and to choose the strategy and the order of killing and how to reach each presented and specified location. The main challenging issue about this mission is that the player has to cope with highly experienced mobile armor patrols of the Germans. Some include fast armored personal carriers, which easily shred their own infantry that are given to the player, or others including heavy tanks like the Tiger. The enemy also randomly sends bombing missions with the bombers that are located in the northern airfield, which the player can neutralize later and even receive pilots if the planes are still intact. The player has to make the best use of the anti-tank Piat rifles that are given to him, which are the main weapon that is equipped. Using the given crewmates, the player may also manage to capture a few vehicles and tanks that are scattered around the map, and it will be vital for the player to obtain more ammunition to keep all the forces ready for any unexpected counter. The main hard point of this mission is that you basically have to deal most of the time with using infantry units against armored battalions. But however, if you manage to use those units smartly and wisely, then you can easily win this mission. So plan out your strategies well and try to eliminate those enemies hiding on the hills, Commander. Number 4. V2. A mission which it might not seem that hard, but once you open it you realize it's a 384 times and 384 times map. Basically the largest single player mission made by the developers, and perhaps the biggest mission apart from some missions in the German and in the Russian as well as the Japanese campaign. This mission, where you always spawn in the northern island and you keep getting bombarded by bombers, coastal artillery, and even some rockets which are located in the factories on both corners of the map. The player starts in the 2 locations, one in the north where he is always bombarded and one as well in the west where he is always bombarded as well. And the target or the objective is very simple. You must capture or destroy the V2 missiles in the factories located on the corners of this massive map. Now don't be fooled, it's not as easy as it looks. Because first thing you would realize is that you cannot use any of those tanks that you have at your disposal to cross on to the other side. You do have some good tanks, so on the northern island you get some T-34s, and on the western island you look at some IS-2s, T-34s, KVs, and even lots of anti-tank guns that you can use. But you can realize that you cannot use them, because you cannot even build a pontoon bridge to get on the other side. I'm not sure if this was an issue in the developing itself, but it's really weird to have all of those units and then realize, oh, I cannot go anywhere with them. So you would mainly have to focus on using the infantry units wisely, just like the mission Hide and Seek. But this time, you will face 10 times more enemies, and they will be consisting of large patrol groups which are moving around in the mainland, which you have to get through precise narrow waterways and canals, and you have to make sure that you're not spotted by any of the enemies. It's a very complex and hard mission. Once you reach the southern factory though, which you have to do that by moving by the borders of the map, and once you capture the southern factory, which won't be that much of a difficulty, you must go by the borders of the map one more and then head northwards to the other factory. For some reason, once you step foot into that factory and go beyond its walls, the enemy artillery have like 100% aimbot accuracy, and they can literally snipe you out. So you have to very carefully plan your way into that factory, because it's very heavily defended and it's more challenging than the other one. V2, definitely a challenging one, and you have to watch out. Number 3. Going in. I think we got to the top of the list too soon. This mission could easily be the hardest one. That is, regarding that the mission is well scripted and winnable. Going in is a mission to truly test your commanding instincts and the ability to achieve your objectives with the lowest capabilities available. This mission is exactly like the hide and seek mission, yet you got British tanks this time, and the enemy also has more tanks and more armor. The best tank that you have here is the A-34 Comet, which can barely scratch the Tiger's frontal armor on general difficulty. You can still win this mission though, but it's insane seeing how many tanks the enemy has. Like in one point, there is like more than 20 tanks grouped up in the point between the north and the southern contingent, as if there is no way to pass from there. There are so many tanks that you have to deal with, and you have to make sure to evade all the anti-aircraft guns that are placed on the hills. You have to kill only a few in case you come to get the B-17 bombers, but you can't use them freely since the enemy is still everywhere with the anti-aircraft guns. Despite the challenging difficulty, going in is still one of the best missions in the entire game, and if you didn't even try it yet, then what are you doing with your life? Try it, you won't regret it. Beating this mission requires extreme patience and caution. One mistake leads to one unit or multiple lost. The enemy is everywhere, heavily armed, and you have lots of objectives to execute, Commander. Number 2. Search and Destroy. Such an evil and unforgiving mission. This one definitely gave many people nightmares when they were playing this game while they were younger. You start up with the only units that you will ever command on this mission, since you won't get any other reinforcements no matter how many units you lose. There are 3 Panthers, and the rest are infantry units. They are highly experienced though, which might be a good thing perhaps. You are up against a large amount of American units and also some British ones, and they brought everything with them here. Pershings, Hellcats, Shermans, and even 2 battleships that patrol the water, which you are tasked to kill. The mission becomes really difficult when you are forced to get to the other side of the river. There, you won't get any access to your Panthers since you can't do any pontoon bridges. You can't even make use of any tunnels around, and you'll have to make use of the few tanks that you might capture and find there, and you have to fight with them. Otherwise, you can't really beat this mission, because you don't even get Panzerfausts. You only get those rifle like Panzer Brushers, which are not effective against those tanks in general difficulty. You can try capturing the airport, and then you can get pilots to use the planes, but don't get so hyped. The map is full of those M5 anti-aircraft half-tracks, which easily eat up planes while they are in the air. Search and Destroy. If this mission had a skip feature, then I would definitely use it without a second thought. And now, for the hardest mission perhaps ever made by the developers of this game and the entire franchise. Number 1. Operation Rescue. I am 99% sure that whoever made this mission never tested it. Promise me, if you plan on playing this thing on general difficulty, then make sure to reserve a bed in a nearby hospital. This mission is making no sense whatsoever. At the start, it seems like a normal rescue mission, where you have to rescue an officer and save him from the grip of the Germans in the northern town. But then the course of it changes after the planes get shot down, so that the player is required to fight his way through the south and steal the enemy tanks parked at the factory there. And then with those tanks, you fight against overpowered German patrol formations until you capture the harbor. And then after doing so, your camping adventure starts. You literally just sit there to the end of the mission, stormed by the same units over and over, and instead of rescuing the officer, you are now forced to play a tower defense and plant vs zombies game, according to the script. Surprisingly, after holding out for a long while enough, you receive tank reinforcements in the south, but after that, the mission ends as a victory for the player, without literally doing any of the required objectives of rescuing the so-called officer which was held captive in the north of the town. And even the enemy battleship that came in is literally doing nothing there, just parking. I think the crew there were fishing. Nice fishing, boys. This mission has to be remade into a better version. The original one is just impossible and unbelievable. That's all about it, folks. These are the top 5 hardest missions in the game from my opinion, and just note and remember that this is from a perspective of playing using general difficulty, and I have explained the reasons in each part. I hope that you have enjoyed the video. There are also many great custom missions made by the community, which I might actually recommend a few of you to try out. I might do a video next time regarding maps that you actually have to give a try. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Take care, and please support us. Click that subscribe button to show us your appreciation for our work. Take care, and we'll see you in the next time. Peace.